At 2 a.m. on Sunday, 23rd February, an evil plan was born in Nairobi, Kenya's capital, at this venue. Under the cover of darkness, Sudan's paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces, signed a political charter with their allies to establish a parallel Sudanese government in territories under their control. This constitutes a blood-soaked colonization of the Sudanese people. It's a political maneuver that threatens to drag Sudan deeper into an abyss of war, genocide, and division. Now, let's be clear. RSF is not a legitimate government. It is a ruthless paramilitary force that has terrorized Sudanese civilians, slaughtered innocent people, and left a trail of destruction wherever its boots have marched. And yet, in a stunning display for audacity, RSF seeks to rebrand itself as a government. A government over what? Over Darfur? Over Masali territory? The very places where they committed genocide against Black Sudanese people? It will be a cold day in hell before this happens. While RSF throws lavish events in Nairobi, their fighters are besieging Sudanese locations like El Fasher, a city on the brink of famine. On paper, the RSF so-called political charter talks about creating a secular, democratic, and decentralized Sudan. But who, in their right mind, believes that? This is the same group that has burned villages, violated women, executed civilians, and looted entire communities. RSF doesn't govern, it destroys. It rules through fear, brutality, and exploitation. And yet, instead of being condemned by all, some African governments are entertaining this madness. Kenya, under President William Ruto, has allowed RSF leaders, men accused of war crimes, to parade through Nairobi. The people of Kenya reject that. How can these people parade through Nairobi, yet they're warlords? It is a disgrace. Why is Ruto's government doing this? Could it be the 1.5 billion loan that Kenya is negotiating with the United Arab Emirates, the very country bankrolling RSF's atrocities? Could it be the multi-billion-dollar Sudanese gold that RSF controls? Make no mistake, what RSF is doing is not governance. It is blood colonization. It is the attempt of a murderous force to impose its will on a population that rejects it. And African leaders who support this are complicit. We must ask, would any African government accept a genocidal militia to rule over its people? Would Ethiopia, would South Sudan, would Kenya? Then why should Sudan? Why should the people of Darfur and Masalit, people who have already been victims of unspeakable atrocities, be forced to kneel under the same boots that have crushed their families? This is not just Sudan's crisis, it is Africa's crisis. If RSF succeeds in establishing a parallel government, the precedent it sets will haunt the continent for generations. Today it is Sudan, tomorrow it could be anywhere else in Africa. So what must we do? These three things. Kenya's decision to host RSF's bloodstained leaders is an insult to justice, to African dignity, and to every Sudanese life that has been lost in this war. We will not allow Africa to be hijacked by warlords. We will not let genocide be rewarded with government titles. And we will not stay silent while Sudan is carved up by men whose hands are drenched in blood. RSF's parallel government is a farce. It's a fraud. It is a crime against the people of Sudan. And we as Africans must unmask it for what it is, a brutal, bloody colonization of Sudan, funded by foreign interests and enabled by those who have sold their conscience.